Yes, I know I've been gone for a bit and I didn't announce it. All right, fair enough. I get that, right, but don't give me that. Do not give me that. Do not give me that. For one, last week it was my birthday. All right, I took my son Foss hunting, and I tell you something, I found out. Do you know why? Because I looked in the wrong places, and that's my fault. But at least I had a good drive down, and I had a good time. I had a good birthday. I got my son lost at some point. Yeah, because that's what you do when you're 28-year-old. But it gets even better. Do you know what else happened? The outside world in the UK got warmer. It got warmer, and I tell you what, it got from -4 all the way to 13 degrees. It feels like it's 50 degrees out there. So I'll tell you what happened to my body. My body went, well, I'm not shaking anymore, but I'll tell you something, I'm shaking from heat stroke. So that's where I've been, because apparently the outside world is getting warmer, and for once, I don't like it. So that's your excuse, so how about you back off? Also, I'm wearing my hair down a bit, because I felt like it for this video, alright? Yeah. Anyways, should we get on with the video? How we doing, everybody? Show Moso, Prince Steel, Tethy, Show, and yep, I'm wearing the hair down a bit, because I'm a tool, and nobody can see me. Well, apart from when this goes out and then people see me on the internet and I look ridiculous. I'm just like, well, where's the other half gone? I don't know. But anyway, so during the time I had off, which, yes, was my birthday, and unfortunately didn't have anything really planned, and got very busy, unfortunately, so that's why there weren't a video last week. But during that time, there appears to have been a new species of Pluridens. So Pluridens imelaki, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but I like imelaki, so we're going to go with imelaki. And that's from the Moroccan phosphates. Where else? So anyways, we're going to discuss it in a video, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. Let's crack on. So first of all, before we get into the actual research of this new Pluridens species, we'll get into Pluridens itself. So Pluridens is a speciose hylosaurine mosasaurus. So what does that mean? Well, it means it's a hylosaurine, which are typically slender-bodied, slender-snouted, small little, fast little creatures with small teeth. That's typically what they are for most. They're little ski boats, if you like, well, little torpedoes, if you like. But Pluridens seems to be one of the most speciose out of these hylosaurine mosasaurs. It lived from about 70 to 66 million years ago. Measurements are wild on this genus. They're absolutely crackers on this genus. So you've got from 5 meter to 9 meter. Huge disparity there. Typically, this genus is characterized by slender jaws with lots and lots of teeth. This animal seems to have up to maybe 30 teeth in some species, which is crackers, which is amazing. And this means that these slender teeth, which I'll try and put one or two up on screen if I've got them available to hand, to tooth if you like, but they would have been used for hunting small, soft-bodied prey, so like squids and fish. So these were fairly successful animals for the fact that they peaked during the Maastrichtian, which is where every other mosasaur seemed to peak, and peaked in the phosphates, which is the most mosasaurus place in the world. It's madness. It is madness. So in the genus Pluridens, we've got quite a few species. So the earliest seems to be, well, an unnamed species, but in my common names video, I call it Pluridens morvillensis. So it's the Morville hylosaurine. It lived it's during the early campaign in the USA. I think the common name I gave for it was the American slender-snouted hylosaur. Very good memory. Another species is Pluridens calabari from the late campaigning of Nigeria. Following that up is the possible descendant of this animal, which is Pluridens walkeri, which I believe is the type species. This is from the early Maastrichtian of Niger, so pretty close together, the two African species. And then we have Pluridens serpentis and the new fella, Pluridens imelaki, from the latest Maastrichtian of Morocco. And yeah, it does appear that these animals may have lived together, or possibly one succeeded the other, we're not entirely sure, but they're found in the phosphates. The phosphates, for some reason, are just daft with mosasaurs, so I'm not surprised if these two were actually cohabiting together. It'd be an amazing sitcom, Pluri and Pluri. A plural of Pluridens. A Pluri of Pluridens, if you like. I'm going daft again. Should we crack on with the video again? Oh, yeah, the Moroccan phosphates, as we all know, has lots of mosasaurs. It's mosasaurus, it's mosasaurus, it's mosasaurus, it's mosasaurus. I'm going to keep saying that until that becomes a scientific term. Eventually, it's going to make it into a paper somewhere. Long Rich, I'm looking at you. But in that particular deposit, if you like, there are at least, well, now 3 hylosaurine species. You have Hylosaurus ironborgii, which is the most common species. You have Pluridens serpentis, which is pretty common, and then you have this fella, Pluridens imelaki, which is rare as heck. It is rare as out, and I'll tell you why, because they only found one. Yes, that's right, one. So, anyways, Pluridens imelaki. So, it's based on a skull. It's based on a big skull, a disarticulated skull, very disarticulated skull. But this skull's huge. He's a big lad. He's got a head. He's got an head, right, about 1.25 meters long, right? I'm about 1.83. I can't remember, but anyways, big lad, big, huge, monstrous, big boy, and an estimated size of about 9 meters in length. That's as big as an Allosaurus. He's big. He's a big lad. As big as Allosaurus, Gorgosaurus, as big as a bus. He's a bus-sized mosasaur. He's a big lad, right? He's huge, and possibly either lived alongside or possibly lived a little earlier than Pluridens serpentis, which is now smaller. I don't know. It could be bigger. It's huge. So yeah, as you can tell by my sheer excitement about this discovery, it's really interesting to see another genus with multiple species in the phosphates, and this is getting to a ridiculous level. There's a ridiculous amount of mosasaurs. I mean, we've got multiple species of Mosasaurus, Globidens and Pluridens in the phosphates, and I would not be surprised if there was more. I really would not be surprised. But anyways, the nitty-gritty of Pluridens imelaki compared to Pluridens serpentis is that there's some differences, particularly in the snout with this animal. Well, bear in mind we all have the skulls, so that's the only thing you can really compare it to. So, Pluridens imelaki differentiates from Pluridens serpentis in having a more pointed pre-maxillary tip, so the very front of the face, the front of the snout is much more pointed, has fewer foramina, so the openings where the nerve endings would be, and the junctions between the maxilla, so the cheekbones, and the premaxilla, so the very tip of the snout, the junction between that is T-shaped. It's T-shaped suture, which could be for stress. It could be actually a mechanical thing. I'm not entirely sure. I think he's been a bit more looking into this. The snout, however, overall seems to be longer and slenderer compared to Pluridens serpentis, which already has a long, slender snout, interestingly. But Pluridens serpentis of near comparable sizes have much more robust dentaries, so much more stronger, more heavily built bottom jaws compared to this animal. We do have the actual dentaries of this animal preserved and for comparison. So Pluridens serpentis, even though it's smaller, seems to have a more robust bite, possibly. The teeth in Pluridens imelaki are shorter and recurve more at the base rather than halfway point in Pluridens serpentis. So whether that's a mechanical thing, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, maybe it's a gripping thing. Who knows, really? The retroarticular process, which is at the back of the bottom jaw, it's taller and more rectangular. And additionally, overall, like I said earlier, this thing is rare. It's incredibly rare. This thing is only known from one specimen. Like, well, at the time, this was including Xenodens before we found another one, and Stellodens. Well, we found another one of that one, but yeah, this thing is only known from one. There's only one of them. There's just one. And like Longrich has actually said in a YouTube video, go watch it. He's seen thousands. He's seen thousands of mosasaurs. But this one, it's just there. So possibly, Pluridens imelaki isn't even from, or didn't even evolve in the Moroccan phosphates. It probably came from somewhere else. Possibly. But anyways, what's it doing in the phosphates, and what's its ecological significance? Let's crack on. So the overall characteristics of this skull, so the more slender jaws and the less foramina on the tip of the snout, and the more robust teeth, it's interesting. It seems like maybe this animal relied more on olfactory or visual sensory, so bit of sniffing and a bit of looking, you know, like I look into your soul, like this. Like this. Oh, I'll back off a bit, but it's interesting because then, if this guy's relying more on his snout and his eyes, he's relying more on his vision. Is he more of a shallow water dweller compared to Pluridens serpentis, which keeps them two apart from each other? And therefore, does that mean that this animal possibly has more competition with younger Pluridens serpentis, just sort of getting their bearings in shallow water, young Mosasaurus, young Flacetine, Hanosaurus, Halosaurus, Aremiosaurus, all those guys? But then the question becomes, Halosaurines are getting just as successful as the other groups of mosasaurs during the latest Maastrichtian, particularly in the phosphates. It's crazy. So what is this animal going after? It's probably going after things that are slightly softer compared to prey that Pluridens serpentis would have gone after, and in a different environment, so that keeps them separate. And then it appears, even with this guy, we're getting even more detailed niche partitioning amongst these many mosasaurs in the rock and phosphates. And guess what? We've got sharks, we've got plesiosaurs, we've got crocodiles in there as well. It's mental. It's mental. And I tell you what, the worst bit about it is I need more shelf space for more mosasaur teeth, because I need to find a toothless fella. So as you can see, guys, this is an incredible discovery. Really, it is. It's fantastic. It's a 1 in a million discovery, really. The fact this thing is so rare and has just appeared is crazy. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later. Ta-da. Bye.